Tiffany Wilson. So this month our theme has been Live Long and Prosper, right? And the title of this talk today is Live Long and Prosper, and this is the Vulcan greeting from Star Trek. What's interesting is Leonard Nimoy shares the story about how this came to be. And he said that in one of the episodes, he, as Mr. Spock, as the Vulcan, was supposed to go back to his planet, and he was betrothed to someone. And so he was asking the question, how would Vulcans greet each other? Because in every culture, you know, we shake hands, or we bow, or we say hello. I mean, there's different traditions in different cultures. And so he made the suggestion that when Vulcans would meet, they would say, live long and prosper with this movement. Now, Leonard Nimoy is of the Jewish faith, and this is the Hebrew letter for Shin. And it means, it's shalom is in Shin, Shaddai. And so it is a form of blessing. And Leonard Nimoy said, people don't realize it, but when they're doing this, they're actually blessing each other. And the blessing, the Hebrew blessing, is this. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. It's in our lesson summation. So this talk today is about the different ways in which we can be a blessing to each other and a blessing to the world, because the truth is that blessing is a choice. In Deuteronomy chapter 11:26, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. And it's up to us to decide which one will we choose, which way will we go. Jesus demonstrated the power of blessing through his healing words when he healed the sick and raised the dead. He also demonstrated the destruction that words can have when he cursed a fig tree. There was a fig tree that wasn't flowering, and he said, "You shall never bear fruit again," and it immediately dried up and died. So he was demonstrating through his intense consciousness the difference between speaking words of blessings and speaking a curse. And so it is with us. We have the power and the free will to do great damage or to do great good. The choice is before us in every moment. This week in Dallas, there was an encounter with an intoxicated man who went after a guy in a pink shirt. And, you know, he was gay, and so he started, verbally abusing and attacking this man. And he got more and more escalated, and this was at in the gateway before, not the gateway, but before people are getting on the plane. And this incident began to escalate until the intoxicated man actually attacked him and hit him. And what was interesting to me was that all the passengers who were waiting to board the plane, rather than standing passively by, every single one of them jumped in and subdued the man until the police could come and arrest him. So there was a choice moment, right? This intoxicated man was choosing the moment to curse, to create ill will, to create evil, if you will. And all the passengers who were waiting to board the plane jumped in and did something different. Every single one of us has that choice in the moment. So it raises the question, doesn't it? Why is there evil in the world? I'm doing a membership class on Sundays after church, and that question, it usually surfaces, especially in unity, where we affirm there is one presence and one power in the universe, God, the good, omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. How then does one explain evil? And in unity, we would say that evil is the malformed good, because if everything is good and everything comes from God, then when we experience evil things, it is from malformed good, and it actually comes from pain, doesn't it? And it's a big test for our faith whenever these experiences come to us. And yet we have free will and choices that we make every day and every moment. So Ekhart Tolle spoke to this in his books, The Power of Now and A New Earth, and he described that, he didn't call it evil, but this leaning toward evil, if you will, as the experience of the pain body. And he describes the pain body as almost being its own entity in a way, and it feeds off of unhappiness. And it thrives, in fact, on unhappiness. And he says, once the unhappiness is taken over, not only do you not want it to end, but you want to make others just as miserable as you are in order to feed on their negative emotional reactions. Have you ever been there? Not you, right? This is unity. We would never do that. He says, emotion from the pain body quickly gains control of your thinking, and once your mind has been taken over by the pain body, your thinking becomes quite negative. The voice in your head will be telling sad, anxious, or angry stories about yourself or your life or other people or the future or whatever. And that's why we have spiritual practice, right? Because it's a choice. And our spiritual practices help us to break this cycle. The spiritual practice of prayer and meditation, the spiritual practice of coming here and worshiping together. I mean, one of the reasons that we come together in this kind of environment and this experience is it breaks the pain body. Right? It breaks that negativity. It's a chance for us to come together in positive, uplifting energy and to know the truth together and to feel that. It is the energy of blessing that we experience when we're here. So there are many different ways that we bless. And the first, obviously, is through love, through friendship, through companionship. Whenever we show our love, basically we are blessing. When we come together, that energy, again, becomes more uplifting, more energetic. The women, there's 33 women that are off on a retreat this weekend called the Goddess Retreat. And I was with them yesterday morning, and it's at St. Andrew's Center in Hood Canal, which itself is a blessing, right? Being in nature is a blessing. But as soon as I walked on the grounds, I could feel this incredibly light, beautiful blessing energy. And when I walked into the meeting room, it increased. Why? Because the women, they're there, are connecting with each other, and there's such positive, uplifting energy that you could just feel that form of blessing being generated as they are there celebrating this weekend and today. So to counteract the pain body, I think we need to come together in community. Again, Deuteronomy said, in the book of Deuteronomy, it says, "See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. Which one will you choose?" So obviously this week, what is up for us is that shooting at Marysville-Pilchuck High School here in Washington. What's interesting is that because we get our news now electronically, I'm not sure that the news has the impact that it used to have when we had to read a newspaper. Kelly likes to get regular newspapers, and here's one from the Everett paper. Dreaded day in Marysville, and it just you can't not look at this without feeling it hit you right in the stomach or right in the heart, right? Whereas when we're looking at it online, it's kind of small, and we can just kind of flip to the next story. And so another person has given in to the pain body, right? What did Ekhart Tolle say? He said, the emotion from the pain body gains control of your thinking, and once this is taken over, your thinking becomes negative. The voice in your head starts telling you sad, horrible, angry stories about everything, and it all happens to us. We all give in to this experience once in a while, but where it becomes totally damaging is when a gun is involved. And then irreparable damage is done. And the damage is not just in someone's head who's experiencing the pain body, it then goes out into the world. And we get to vote on that, don't we? In another week, at in our ballot, it's coming up for gun control. And, you know, it's our time to start moving things forward and saying, hey, you know what? We're kind of done with this. We need to make some changes, and we need to make some moves. We have a choice to be a blessing or a curse. And blessings come in many forms. And in this experience in Marysville, the blessings are coming in the form of prayer vigils that are being held in the community. The blessing comes from the grandfather of one of the victims who said he forgives the shooter and his family. He said, we can't do anything now but heal. The blessing comes from the shared grief. The blessing comes from Denise Hatch, one of the mothers of one of the boys who was shot, and she said, there is no time for hate, just love. And the blessing comes from the football team from Oak Harbor. I'm sure many of you heard that there was a big game Friday night. It was for first place for the division. And rather than just cancel the game on Friday night, Oak Harbor said, you know what? We'll give you first place. We'll back out, we'll let you have it, and you can be the division leaders. That is a form of blessing, isn't it? That is a form of love and expression that is spontaneous. Becky Berg, the Marysville school superintendent, said, you know what, it's not about football. It's about habits of the heart and what our kids learn that are far beyond reading, writing, and arithmetic. And I think that this will be a great lesson for these kids. So it's a choice that they have moved forward by not adding to the collective pain body. Instead, they're adding to the blessing. So I think that it's important that we stop for a moment and we add our blessing to this experience. So I invite you, if you would, to just turn your attention within. And our blessing goes first to those who have passed, including the shooter. We bless them on their journey. May the pain body be left behind. We bless those who are wounded, who are in the hospital right now. And we see that divine presence that dwells within each person, moving through them as healing and wholeness right now. We bless the community of Marysville. And let's just take a moment of silence to be with that. And we hold the families, all affected. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make her face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift her countenance upon you and give you peace. May it be so. Amen. Pema Chodron said this, times are difficult globally. Awakening is no longer a luxury or an ideal. It is becoming critical. We don't need to add more depression, more discouragement, or more anger to what's already here. It's becoming essential that we learn how to relate sanely in difficult times. The earth seems to be beseeching us to connect with joy and discover our innermost essence. This is the best way that we can benefit others. It's like the old Cherokee story where the grandfather is talking to his grandson. I'm sure you all know it. And the grandfather says, "There are two wolves inside of me. And one wolf is angry and jealous and vengeful, and they're fighting, these two wolves. The one is self-pity and pride, the pain body. And the other wolf is good and kind and compassionate, filled with faith and generous. And this fight is going on not only inside of me, between these two wolves, but the fight is going on within you and with every single person." And the grandson says, "And grandfather, which one will win?" And the grandfather says, "The one you feed." Will you feed the pain body? Or will you choose to seek out a blessing? Live long and prosper is not just a cute sign from a TV show. It is an ancient Hebrew priestly blessing from the Hebrew letter Shin, Shalom, Shaddai. And it means, may the Lord bless you and keep you. In fact, it's in your bulletin. I'd like you to share that with me as we say it together in closing. And make with one of the hands. They actually do it with both. The priest does with both. Together. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up her countenance upon you and give you peace. May it be so. Amen. So.